drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Today, I want to talk about this video that I'm going to show you of a Black man who is at dinner with a Black woman. And apparently, this video has been getting a lot of fire on the internet, where there are a lot of people who are questioning whether or not it made sense that she was sneaking him money to help him pay the bill. So this man was apparently short on money, and she slid him a couple dollars. And I'm going to give you some of the reactions, and I'm going to put it into context. You guys know I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking, and I'm going to kind of give you some things to think about on this. So do me a favor, give me a yes if you can hear me, a yes in the chat if my audio is coming through okay. Also, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I want to say hi to everybody. Shout out the city you're from. I want to say hello to Sharon Lane, Gina Mills, Sergio, and Byron. I see you in there. All right, and Byron says this is a skit, so y'all can let me know if you think it's a skit. If it's a skit, it's a damn good skit. If they were playing, then they did a good job. They sparked a conversation. So I'm gonna show you this video, and what I want you to do is I want you to give me kind of a one-sentence statement about what you're seeing here and what you believe. And I'm gonna show you, and this is a video of a man and a woman at dinner, and the woman slides him money because apparently he can't pay the bill. And apparently a lot of people have some comments on this, and I'm going to share some perspectives on this. So let me play this video now. Let me know if you can see it. Here it goes. All right. Did y'all see that? Did y'all notice the little slippy slip where she slipped him the money? What do y'all think? Do y'all think that what do you think? I know you may think it's a skit. Maybe you don't. Forget about that part. Let's put that to the side. It could be a skit. I don't know. The internet's full of all kinds of stuff. But it was an interesting perspectives, an interesting thing, right? It could have been real. Give me a yes if you have imagined scenarios that could actually happen like this, right? Let me know if you can relate to this, if you've ever seen this, if you can imagine this happening, right? Sure, maybe it was fake, but perhaps it was a fake personification of a very real experience. Let me know what you guys think about this. So let me give some comments on this that I saw online. It was really interesting. It drew a lot of controversy. There was, let's see, one woman, Dimitri, says, social media needs to get a grip. Women, y'all get caught up with these scenarios. It's okay to pay the bill at times. Having to hide it is questionable. Men want traditional women, but celebrate this. Pay attention. Now, the next person says she slid him money the way broke grandmas sneak grandkids money. Now, don't tell your mama I gave you this. Let's see. Somebody else says if she's the GOAT, then he's still a kid. So she's saying that that is very emasculating, that he looks like a kid doing this. Let's see. Someone says don't fall for this. You'll be struggling. This is irresponsible. What's another comment? Another one, all the financially irresponsible men. She's a keeper. That won't be the first or the last time. Eventually, she's going to get tired of it. Check your wallet and your bank app before going out. You can even do it in your car. All right. Let's see. Next one. Why hide it if there's nothing wrong with paying for dinner for your man? I do it all the time. We are a team. Let's see. Someone else says anyone that's been in a real relationship knows that this is normal. All right. So let's look at this, right? Let's think about it from a couple of perspectives. One, either he is a person that did not have enough money to pay the bill and he's generally broke, right? Just broke all the time. Or two, he did not make a plan, right? He did not plan to make sure that he had enough money to cover the bill, which could speak to financial responsibility, right? That's a comment, right? That's a statement. Or maybe, maybe he just, felt pressure to take her to a place that was a little more costly than what he could afford. And he found out that, because you know how it is, sometimes you get that bill and they throw in taxes and extras and excuse me, and you get all this extra stuff on the bill that you don't expect, right? Anybody ever go through that where they throw in the taxes and the service charge and everything else, and then that kind of throws off your game, right? So here's the deal. Sorry, y'all gotta forgive me. I was choking a little bit. So effectively, the argument could be made that maybe there's something to be concerned about, right? Now, there's another perspective, and I will share it as soon as I stop choking. Y'all got to forgive me. So there's another perspective on this, right? The other perspective is that there's nothing abnormal about this, that this is what a lot of couples go through, that there's money shared in the relationship. Sometimes she picks up the bill. Sometimes he picks up the bill. But then there's the other angle to this. The third piece of this is the fact that she slid the money to him, right? Rather than just, handing him the money, she kind of slid it, almost like to protect his pride, to protect his ego. So let me give you my perspective on this, and from a personal standpoint, the perspective of a man who knows the experience of being broke. I also know the experience of being rich. I know the experience when I've had plenty of money to pay the bill. I've had the experience of getting the bill and not being ready for the bill. We've gone through all that. And I have a PhD in finance. So, but I've made financial mistakes, especially when I was younger. I really liked what she did. I really do. I liked it because there's a certain way that you should treat a man. There's a certain way, and women don't get this anymore because their daddies don't live in the house anymore. Let's just be honest. Black women don't grow up with a daddy in the house. So you think that things like protecting our pride, protecting our ego is old-fashioned, or it's not your job, or it's just too much, and all this other stuff. And I'm going to tell you that's going to cripple you in relationships. It's going to cripple you. And the reason it's going to cripple you is for the same reasons that I would be crippled if I never learned how to talk to a woman. When I talk to my wife, I know I got to be sensitive. When I talk to my wife, I know that I got to use certain words. I know that I got to approach things in a certain way. Give me a yes if you understand. Everybody who's got a woman or got a man that they love, say something in the chat. If you don't have that, then I pray that this comes for you. But you have a lot of loveless people out here where they don't understand why don't nobody want them, don't nobody love them, don't nobody want to stick around, right? And I'm going to just tell you, I think that catering to a man and catering to a woman is just like catering to a job. It's just like if you get a job or you have a business and you get a client, you cater to your client, you cater to your job, you cater to your customer, so you cater to your woman, you cater to your man. That's what you do. That's what you do. Don't nobody want to do that. Well, I ain't got to do nothing. He got to massage my ego. I mean, he got to rub my feet. But okay. Well, guess what? There's some other big booty woman sitting over there who will rub your man's feet because you're too proud to do it. Seriously, that's what it is. Guys like, man, you simping, dog. You simping. You up for being nice to these hoes. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Well, guess what? That romantic guy who brought your wife flowers at work the way you would refuse to do, he's going to be all swimming in your wife's vagina at some point, and you're going to be mad about it. And then you're going to be on the internet talking about, I'm going to be a passport brother. Because these women, these black women, they just gold diggers. Okay. Keep doing that. So I liked it a lot because remember the money part. The money part is what triggers me because I'm into the money stuff. I pay attention to these relationship conversations online, which are all terrible, by the way. A lot of them are just terrible, very toxic. And I believe it's connected to the broken black family, by the way. It's related to the fact that 76% of black children do not grow up with a father in the house. So the women don't have any clue on what it means to cater to a man. A lot of men never learned how to be a man. They never learned the rules of manhood. Well, why? Well, it's not your fault. It's because daddy wasn't there to teach you. Daddy, learning manhood is a lifetime assignment. It's like a course that you take that takes 20 years to complete. And even then you still ain't done. And so when you don't have any of that, you're going to miss some of the key points. You're just going to miss it. So if you want to know why you have some men who just don't do what you think a man's supposed to do, it's because they never learned that. And you have some women who don't know how to treat a man because they never had to deal with a man on a daily basis. If you have a man in your house and you're always trying to figure out, how do I dance around my daddy's ego? How do I protect his pride? What does it mean to show him respect? Why does he value respect more than love? Then you apply that to your man. But if you are sitting there and there is no man, and all you're doing is talking to your bitter single mama about men who said, don't be worrying about them boys, focus on your grades. These men, all they do is they use you up. These men, da 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 da. Then you're going to be a step behind. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to be a step behind. Because a lot of relationships is about like customer service. If you value somebody and you want them, then you're going to figure out how to make them happy. You know, it really, and I don't understand why that's so hard to get. Let me know if you understand this, if you get what I'm saying. It's not complicated. It's not complicated to keep somebody around. Like the way to make them happy, it's easy. It's just like when you run a business. You find out what your customer wants and you get it to them. You find out what their needs are and you fulfill those needs. If you have a customer and you run a business and you have a customer and your customer says, I need paint, and you bring them fried chicken instead, and they say, well, but I asked for paint, and you're going to be like, yeah, but the chicken's really good. And they're like, no, but I wanted paint, and you still keep bringing them chicken. Well, guess what? They're not going to be your customer no more. That's what people do in relationships, honestly. They bring chicken when the person asks for paint. The man's asking you for respect, and you bringing him all these other things that you think that a man should want, but you ain't no damn man, so you ain't never known what a man really wants, so you don't understand, so you're confused. You get bitter, mad, because you think all the men, all they do is they want to be with these hoes and blah, blah, blah. Take a class. Go read a book about men. I really think that's important. So I'm going to tell you like this. I like that video. Not just as a black man, as you can see, that triggers me, right? But also, I like the video because I've been a broke man and I've been a rich man. I've been in a situation where women wanted to be around me because I had money. And I've been in situations where women avoided me because I had no money. I've been in both of those situations. And one thing that's interesting, I can tell you, when I met and married my wife, and I saw, some people on the internet speculating on my relationship. These fools don't know me. They ain't never met me. They just making shit up based on their own pathetic lives, I guess. I have no idea. But when I chose my wife, notice that I married a woman who knew me when I was broke. I can remember a time when me and my wife were friends. We were friends for a long time. I volunteered myself for the friend zone because I didn't ask her out. And she says, if you would ask me out, I would have went out with you, but I didn't. So we were friends for a long time and I enjoyed it. There's a lot of value you can get by being friends with a woman. A lot of people don't know that, but you learn more about a woman by being her friend than you learn by being her boyfriend. But a lot of people will never get that because they always thinking about trying to get a piece of ass or whatever. But anyway, when we were friends, I can remember times we went places, we go to lunch. One time we drove to New York. We took a friend trip to New York, and I remember that we got to the toll booth and the toll was really high because we've been on the freeway a long time. And I remember I didn't have any money. And I remember being so happy that she just pulled out her money and paid the toll booth. Like literally, this is a long time ago. We were listening to Jay-Z and DMX. That's how long ago it was. And she pulled out the money to pay the toll booth. And I didn't say nothing because I was broke. And I was ashamed of being broke. And again, it wasn't no date or nothing. But as a man, you kind of feel like you're supposed to take charge of that. But I didn't have the money to do it. And, so years later, when we decide finally that we want to take our friendship to a different level, I was very happy, relieved to be with a woman who not only had her own money, because she's a PhD and all that. She was fine. But also to know that this woman wanted to be around me and hang out with me even when I was completely broke, because I met so many women who were so happy to be next to Boyce Watkins because they thought they could get access to my bank account. And that makes you paranoid as shit. It makes you very paranoid. It's just like women, when men look at you like you're a piece of meat, that's what rich men go through. The women look at you like a piece of meat. There are women that the other thing too is I was never a simple man, right? So to some extent, my statements are a little bit different from some men because I'm not simple. Like I remember Kevin Samuels would talk about women's dress sizes and like that was the most important thing in the world. I never ever asked a woman her dress size. I don't care. I want to know what's inside your brain. What drives your soul? Tell me about your life. who are you as a person, right? Like I don't even know to this day, I still don't know my wife's dress size. But for the record, she does wear the same dress size she wore in college because she works out every day. But I still don't. But if you ask me what's her dress size, I would say I have no idea, right? So I really think that this video, what this showed me was, I said, okay, see, y'all don't understand. These are the types of women that men pick when they become millionaires. Because that's that woman who will help you pay that bill and then really go out of her way to preserve your pride at the same time. Like, okay, I know you want to be the man. I know it's a little bit tough for you. Because remember, economics is tough for a black man. This society is not built for black men to have the same economic opportunities as black women. Y'all don't understand this. White people will hire a black woman and take her up the corporate ladder before they will hire a black man, because the black man is a threat. The gay black man is not a threat, but the heterosexual black male, every study shows this. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this in Powernomics. It goes all the way back to slavery and the plantation and the big house. They'll let the pretty little they'll let the pretty little light-skinned black woman into the big house before they let that big black buck or that big black man into the big house, because the big black man's gonna kill you. The little black woman, she's cute. You can have the pretty lady next to you, and it's still true to this day. Y'all act like racism ended a long time ago. No, racism is alive and in full effect. In fact, to this day, my wife, who is let me show you, y'all probably seen my wife before, but I'll just remind you, my wife is a red bone black woman. And she works at a university. I have a PhD just like her. I have the same credentials that she has. Her university hires people like her. They do not hire people like me. They do not have a single African-American male on the entire faculty. Not one single African-American male. So, but the thing is, the reason I respect my wife immensely, because she's from the hood. She's a Gary girl. She's seen black men in the struggle. She's ride or die with that, and women like that tend to be my preference. I respect y'all for being that way. She understands that as a light-skinned black woman, she's going to have privileges in corporate America and in universities that I'm not going to have. Right. So now here's the thing, though. This is where the responsibility falls on black men. Stop sending your sons out here to go beg white men for jobs. Your sons get out here and they go to school, and then they think they're going to get the same job as the woman. You're taking a woman's approach to this economy, this racist economy, and you lose because they don't see you the same as they see everybody else. It's like a police stop. The police ain't going to look at a black man the same way they look at a black woman. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. You're not your mother. And a lot of boys grow up with their mamas, and they think I can do what my mama did, and the world will treat me the way they treated my mama. So you seen your mama, you watch your mama. One of my friends said this actually. I think he's a rapper, and he's a tough guy, and he said that I used to see my mama run up and scream and holler and cuss people out and all that, and I learned very early that if I approach problems the way my mother approached them, I was gonna get shot. I was going to get killed. I was going to get beaten up. I was going to get arrested, because they won't do that to a woman most of the time, but they'll do it to a man. And so a lot of boys, a lot of black boys, this is me speaking as a finance guy now, a lot of black boys get thrust into the economy, and you treat them to go into the economy as if they are women. And so they get mad because the white man ain't hiring these black boys the way they'll hire women. They already don't want to hire black people, period. But a black male, go to most corporations and look around and look at how many straight heterosexual black males they have in the boardroom, working in middle management, or doing like the intelligent positions. Go to Google and see how many African-American male engineers Google has on the staff. Go to Facebook and look in their diversity department and see how many black women are there versus black males. Goldman Sachs announced they're investing $10 billion into black-owned businesses as long as those businesses are being run by women. Women get a level of economic support in America that black men do not get. So here's the deal. It sucks, but this is the reality. If you're a black woman and you love black men, just know we ain't gonna be holding cash the way a white man will most of the time. Money is not our strength. Cash flow, dollar bills, those little worthless green pieces of paper that the government prints, We don't have as many of those as the white man does, right? He can pull it out and he can throw it at you and all that. You know why? You know why? Do y'all know why? Do y'all know why white men have more of these than we do? Do you know? Because he can print the shit. He has the power to print the shit. He runs the billion-dollar corporations. He controls the banks. He controls the access to capital. He controls the economic infrastructure. Black men don't have that kind of pull in white society. So if you're measuring men in manhood solely on the ability of a man to write a check, then just call yourself a white supremacist right now. Just go join the Klan. Go, do a Meghan Markle or something. Do like Ketanji Brown Jackson or Kamala Harris. Ketanji Brown Jackson's on the Supreme Court because she married a nice white man from Harvard. A lot of black men don't get into Harvard. You can do what Kamala Harris did. Kamala Harris went to Howard, but then she married Dougie, the white guy, the white attorney, the high-powered white attorney who got her lots of opportunities and made her vice president of the United States. I mean, if you define power and success as the degree to which you can elevate within white society, then your preference will always have to be a white male because you're trying to measure. It's like measuring the quality of a fish by how well he climbs a tree. If you're comparing fish to cats and you say the best fish is the one who can climb the tree the highest, then black men are going to lose because black men are the fish, white men are the cats. But if you measure me based on how well I can swim, a fish can swim much better than a cat. The black man may not have as much money as the white man, but the black man has some things money can't buy. The black man, we have a type of strength that white men don't have. We have a relatability to your experience that white men don't have. We have physical gifts that white men don't. Physical gifts inside and outside the bedroom. And I do believe those stereotypes because slavery did a number on us. They used to breed slaves, right? So we, to some extent, have gifts that other people do not have. There is something special about the black man that makes us desired by everyone on the planet. If you watch the purest measure of natural economic gifts is the men's final of the 100-meter dash in the Olympics. If you watch the men's final of the 100-meter dash, you will rarely see a person who is not a black male, right? Why is that? Well, because we have something other people don't have. I'm a track coach. I was a track coach for a long time. You can't teach somebody to run the 100-meter dash in 10.26 like Deion Sanders did. You can't teach that. There's never been a white Deion Sanders. There's never been a white Michael Jordan. There's never been a white Shaquille O'Neal. Do you understand? There's never been a white Lamar Jackson. It's just not, right? So the reality is that if you're only measuring men based on how much money they have, which is, you're right, and I get it, right? Financial trauma is very, very real. We talk about that a lot in the Black Business School. Then you're going to miss out on a lot of the greatest gifts that black men have. Don't get me wrong. I think money's important. I think that black men, I think your best route is to get off the freeway and drive on the side streets, economically speaking. What I mean by that is I don't think you should do the whole, I'm going to go to school and get a good job pathway to economic success. That is a roadblock. That will not get you where you want to get to. The black man must be an investor. He must own shares of stock from the time he's born. Get that little black boy some stock for Christmas. Stop buying him all them goddamn toys and buy him some shares of companies so that when he gets to be 20, 25 years old, he's got the ability to feel comfortable in providing financial security for somebody as opposed to feeling like he's got to struggle. You can do that very easy when he's born. Number two, the black man should own real estate as soon as he can. Number three, he should be a master at running businesses. I have no idea why we have more black boys playing football than we have building wealth. Do you understand? Do you know that they did? Let me tell you something. This is going to piss people off. Anybody who loves football like I do is going to be pissed off when I say this because it makes me a complete hypocrite. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm a big football fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm happy to be a Cowboys fan this year because it looks like they're actually good. I'm an Ohio State Buckeyes fan. I love football, but this is going to piss off all my friends that love football. Let me tell you this. I saw where Brett Favre was on the show with my friend Jason Whitlock. Jason's my friend. Jason's an asshole half the time, but I respect him because he's honest. Anyway, Brett Favre was on Jason Whitlock's show. And let me tell you what Brett Favre said to Jason Whitlock. He said that he asked the doctor, he said, what is the safe age to start playing tackle football? You know what the doctor said? He said, never. He said, literally, you've probably had thousands of concussions because every time you get tackled and your ears are ringing and you see stars, or whatever, he said, that's a concussion. He said, so you think you've had 3 or 4 because that's what they do. They don't want you to know what's going on. He said, but you've had thousands of concussions in your life. Every time you get tackled, damn near every time you get tackled is a concussion. So what is my point here? My point is to say that it's not healthy that we will sign all of our boys up for football camps, but we don't sign them up to be business owners. We don't sign them up to be wealth builders. We don't sign them up to be able to provide for their families the things that they actually need to survive. When you are a 35-year-old black man and you're struggling to pay the bills, take care of your kids, take care of your woman, you can't feed your children a goddamn football. You can't feed your children a basketball. You cannot feed that woman your broke ass rap career that never took off because you didn't let Clive Davis squeeze your booty. Right? Seriously, yeah, like that's what it is. Y'all know what it is. A lot of these deals are deals with the devil. You let Clive Davis squeeze your booty, then maybe you can get a rap deal. But for the most part, a lot of very talented hip hop artists, and I know a ton of them, are sitting there at 35, 40 years old, trying to make records and never learn the business of actually monetizing their skill. So they end up being the broke rapper. It's hard to get a mother whose primary job is the survival of her children. That's the number one thing that most mothers think about when they wake up. It's very hard to get a mother to go along with your rap career. You 41 years old and you ain't paying the bills, man. You need to figure out another plan. And what happens is that because of the way we're educated, because of the way we're trained as kids, we never have a plan B. We don't understand what to do. So I do think, on one hand, while I do think that Black women who love Black men you cannot get caught in this purely materialistic mindset, that is fed to you by society. I also think though that men, you got to step up. You got to understand like that man ain't never gonna clear no pathways for you to have everything you deserve. You're gonna have to go take that. And the way you take that is by being prepared. You take that by being smart. You take that by training yourself. You take that by getting prepared. You take that by taking the road less traveled. The road less traveled, but the most important road is the road of the entrepreneur. If the Black man becomes the entrepreneur, then he has the opportunity to be the king. No man will ever invite you into his castle and make you the king. In order to be a king, you must know how to build a castle. That's just that. It sucks, but that's the reality that you're dealing with. And I encourage men to understand this. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I wrote a whole book when I was on the faculty of Syracuse University. I wrote a whole book on money and love called Financial Lovemaking. You're welcome to take a look at that. If you go to drboycebooks.com, if you search for the word autograph, I can even sign it for you and send it to you if you'd like to take a look at that. My wife also has done workbooks on things like financial trauma. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, search for the word Alicia, and you can find some of her workbooks on financial trauma. That's a big issue in the Black community that's unaddressed. That's one of the big barriers to wealth that's out here. Also, I want to remind you that if you want to get profit alerts, I send out stocks that I'm buying that can help you make money, things like that. Feel free to text the word stock to 89748. Text stock to 89748. And this podcast is on Spotify. So if you'd like to follow me on Spotify and listen in your car or listen while you're at the gym, then just look me up on Spotify. And we've had over about 1.3 million downloads in the last month or so. So I want to say thank you very much for all your support. And I'm glad somebody's listening. Okay, so I'm going to play this video one more time and get kind of like some quick final closing thoughts. And then we're going to bounce out for tonight. So let me play this video. So this is a video of the woman handing the man the money. And I'm going to tell you, sort of summarize why I like it. I actually like it. So here it is. Okay, so the video could be a skit. If it's a skit, it's a very good skit because it stimulated a lot of important conversations. I think that we have to talk more about money in our families. I think that Christmas is coming. When you think about what gift to give your kids, I hope you'll consider giving them something like shares of stock or something that's going to benefit them long term. not just toys, because when they get older, they won't have those toys when they get older. But anything you do for them financially, they're going to have that when they get older if you preserve that wealth, or if you also give them some sort of economic knowledge. And so if you want to take a look at some of the stuff we have in the Black Business School, we have an entire wealth building program that's really, really good. We educate 7-year-olds as if they're college students. We can get your child to have a financial literacy level that's higher than the average college educated adult. Just go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. We're teaching kids stock market investing. We're teaching kids real estate. We're teaching kids crypto. We're teaching kids the fundamentals of investing. We're teaching them the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. Just take a look at the program, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. I think you'll like it. And it will make a great Christmas gift for your child. Just like my grandmother taught me about economics when I was a kid. And that played a big part in my long-term trajectory. And so I want to encourage you, when you're talking about building families, you have to plan ahead. If you do not plan ahead, then you won't do it right. The dating scene is a mess. And a big part of the reason that the dating scene appears to be a mess is because you have a lot of misguided young people who don't understand the rules. They don't understand the expectations. They're confused. They're frustrated. There are a lot of misunderstandings between Black men and Black women, and it becomes complete chaos. So what I would encourage you to do is get your kids ready in advance. There's something like, for example, I talked to you guys a lot about the $5 a day investing plan. If you invest $5 to $10 a day for your son and you never sell those stocks, and you buy stocks in like SPY or VOO, those are mutual funds that allow you to have ownership in the biggest companies in America. If you do that consistently until your child is 20, 25 years old, they don't have these little $2 problems. Your son will never be in a situation where he's stressed out because he can't take a girl out that should be the mother of his children. Think about this. You're going to miss out on the chance to give life to your own children, or to be with the mother of your children, because you can't afford an $80 meal versus a $30 meal. You can't afford to go to Applebee's instead of going to Chick-fil-A. I want you to really process how crazy that is. Or your daughter misses out on dating her husband because her husband had to get his shoes from Walmart instead of getting them at the mall or whatever, right? Or he can't afford a Gucci bag, or just stupid stuff like that. Like, it's crazy to me how these little tiny financial decisions that are easily preventable, easily avoided, easily fixed, literally make the difference between life and death for the next generation. Like, really, like guys will miss out on the chance to be with the mother of their children because they're struggling so hard financially that they don't feel worthy of being in a relationship, or they're afraid of the financial stress of having a woman next to you. So when you prepare your child, right, and you can text the word stock to 89748, I will text you the $5 a day plan that'll get your child in a great financial position by the time he's 25 years old. If you get your kid ready economically with a couple things, one, you give them some assets. If you do the $5 a day plan, your kid will have over $100,000 by the time they're 20. If you do $10 a day, then it becomes $200,000. So they got plenty of money at that point. They're doing better than 99% of all white people. So they're all this stuff, all this, like, I couldn't date this woman, I wanted to be with her. I want you to really think about this, right? When my father met my mother, he told me, he said, I saw her and I told my friend Freddie, he said, that's going to be my wife. And he because he's a strong man and a determined man and was trained on how to be a man, which meant knowing how to go after what he wanted instead of waiting for it to fall in his lap. Guess what happened, y'all? That became his wife. And 50 years later, that's still his wife. And 50 years later, they have 3 children that are all millionaires that take care of them. We paid off their house. We bought them my dad wanted a car. I got him a truck with cash, right? So I need you to understand the broad implications of ignoring all the little tiny butterfly effects, all the little tiny pivots that you can create in the life of yourself or in your kid that can change everything. What if my father had been a broke man with no confidence? And he was broke, actually. He just had a lot of confidence. He got his confidence. Where did he get his confidence? He got it from his father. He didn't get it from his mama. His mama did not give him. Your mama cannot simulate testosterone. Testosterone heavily exists mostly in men. Women have it too. Don't get me wrong. But men, we have a lot of it. but it has to be triggered. It has to be triggered, and it's typically triggered by another man who challenges your manhood and pushes you to have the discipline required for you to do the work necessary for you to compete in a very competitive society. That's the reality, y'all. That's what it is. So when you talk about the missing father in the Black household, it has implications beyond anything you can ever imagine. Beyond anything you ever imagine. If you want to understand what I see, or just get a glimpse into my crazy world, whenever think about times where you've seen a man who wasn't really a man. I want you to think about all the times you've seen men who went through their whole life harming people, disappointing people, not coming through for people. That is an example of a man who was never trained on how to be a man. That's what it is. He was never trained on the discipline required for manhood, following through, coming through for people, defending and protecting, providing and protecting. Those are big signs of masculinity, but you got distracted because the white man don't want you to be no man. The racist in America does not want the black man to stand up in his divine masculinity. He wants you to remain a little boy. So when you see in all these, what I call them bearded babies, when you see bearded babies all throughout your community who know how to go and get girls pregnant, but don't know nothing about showing up for a child or showing up for other human beings, they show up for the liquor and the weed and the pussy, and that's it. Like that's what you're getting. That's the culture that they are promoting. Well, why? Well, who are the most visible black men that you see on media? Is it the doctors and the lawyers? Is it the therapists? Is it the scientists? Who are the black men that get the most attention in white-owned media? It's the rappers. These are the same sons of bitches that are getting sued because they spent the last 30 years engaged in horrifically embarrassing, irresponsible, debaucherous behavior. That's why they're getting sued. Why would they do that? Well, they do that because they don't want your men to be men. They don't want them to be solid. They want them to be flimsy. They want them to be weak. They want them to be a bunch of loud talking, irresponsible bums. So what effectively occurs is that if you destabilize the family at the same time and you take the father out of the household as the primary male role model, then guess what? The little boy is just growing up. He's looking up to the rappers. And what's he hearing from the rappers? Is he hearing, you should find a good woman and love that woman, for the rest of your life? No, he's hearing, we don't love them hoes. Fuck them bitches. Go get money, nigga. That's what he's hearing. That's what he's hearing. And then when he gets 28, 29, 30 years old and he's a flimsy ass piece of shit that can't be relied upon for anything, his own kids are like, Daddy, what we doing? Like, what the hell, Daddy? I'm depending on you. The kid is like 9 years old, realizing I got to be the adult in this relationship. Well, because your daddy never became a man. He never went through a rite of passage. Nobody ever taught him what manhood looks like. And if you're in this category, I'm not making fun of you. The fact that you're even listening to me to this point, I encourage you to like not be offended. Sometimes I say things that sound mean, and I don't want to do that. I just want you to try to hear me. Just hear what I'm saying. You need your fathers. And ladies, y'all, I'm sorry. Everybody, it takes a village to destroy a child. So women, you can't take yourselves out of the equation. You're giving birth to these little assholes. You're chasing. The boys want to act like the rappers. You're chasing the damn rappers. 23 years old, you getting pregnant with some guy that ain't got no business in your bedroom. And now your child is 8 years old, wondering why his daddy ain't nowhere around and why mama didn't take the time to have enough foresight to be able to consider what life would look like 10 years from now when she has an 11-year-old child who's looking for his daddy and his daddy is nowhere to be found. I mean, you picked that motherfucker. You did. You picked that guy. You decided that was he looked good, girl. The sex is good, girl. Okay, you do that. and then watch how much guilt you have when your child does not have an essential ingredient in his life. So then maybe you feel guilty. So then you spoil him because you feel bad that he ain't got a daddy. And then he grows up and he becomes a piece of shit for some other woman. That's what he does. That's what y'all seen the pattern. Go watch the movie Baby Boy. John Singleton nailed it in that movie. That's what Baby Boy was all about. A lot of grown-ass men who are baby boys, but unfortunately their penises work, so they impregnate the next generation of baby boys, or they create the next generation of baby boys. That's what you have in your community, right? And so I personally think that in this space, it's a shit show, first and foremost. I'm gonna just say that. I feel like it's so far gone. The dysfunction is it's just unbelievable. It's like a tidal wave of dysfunction. So I can't pretend to be able to fix any of this from my little tiny platform. I need to have a billion subscribers to be able to try to even put a dent in this issue. But what I can say to you is that you can quarantine yourself by being very conscious, right? Conscious about sort of understanding the cause and effect that exists in life. Okay, if I ask this lady out and I sleep with this lady, she could end up being the mother of my kids. So because I love my kids, I'm going to think carefully about where I lay my seed. But that starts with things like self-esteem. That's why the healing is so important, because a lot of, if you're a woman and you have a sex addiction and you're sleeping with all these different nasty ass men because the sex is good, well, maybe part of that sex addiction is driven by a trauma response, right? The sex heals you. It makes you feel good because you feel so bad because of terrible things that happened to you when you were a kid. But they also have things like therapists that can help you work through that so you don't destroy your life and the lives of other people just because you've got this pain that won't seem to go away. I'm going to tell you like this. We underestimate the amount of pain that children feel when they've got just one parent and when they should have had two. We underestimate it. We just think it's par for the course. We toughen up. We get the leather skin. We just learn how to deal with it. The black woman is the toughest woman on the planet because she hurts so bad. Because the idea that at 6 years old, you can't even depend on your daddy is so brutal. That is horrible. And the fact that we just act like we ain't skipped a beat. That's a mental illness. That's a mental health problem. I just really think we should think about this. So because here's what happens. It ends up perpetuating itself to the next generation. So again, going up back to the original video. Let's talk about the original video. There are a lot of women, because they never had a man in the house. They don't know how to treat a man because they had the single mother who told them to always focus on their grades and that men ain't shit, or whatever message they might have got from mama. But either way, they're growing up thinking, I don't want to cater to no man. I ain't catering to his ego. I ain't putting up with this. I ain't putting up with that. I refuse to lower my standards and all this. And I get all that. That all makes sense. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. But guess what? When you meet a man that you like, he doesn't like you. Why? Well, because no man wants to marry a bitch. Nobody wants to be with somebody. No man I know, no decent, self-respecting man wants to be in a relationship with somebody who's constantly reminding him of how much she don't need him. Even if she went through trauma, and there's reasons, right? There's a reason why she had to have the tough, strong black woman persona, because she had to do that for survival. I get all that. But I want a nurturer. I want something soft to lay next to. I don't want to lay next to another dude. If you rock solid, cool. You could be rock solid by yourself. Men will show up. Men will always show up and have sex with you for the rest of your life. So you'll never be short on sex, but you might be short on the love and protection that you actually deserve because you never took the time to consciously redirect the rocket. That you never took the time to constantly right the ship. You never took the time to say, I got this deficiency. Where it's causing me problems in my relationships, the trauma and not understanding men and not respecting men. I've been trained to just judge them and be mean to them and punish them for being who they are. And so I've never gained the trust of men because men see me as a threat. And when men see you as a threat, they're not going to respond to you like you're a woman they need to protect. They're going to respond to you like another dude they need to fight. And that's why you see so many black people fighting. That's why you see black men and black women just duking it out, going at it. Because it's like, well, I'm going to get you before you get me. I don't want no parts of none of that. That ain't love, y'all. That's not love. That's called war. Do you understand? Do you understand the difference between love and war? That's why you don't really have a lot of black love in a lot of places. You have black war. That's my 2 cents. That's it. I'm done. Thank you guys for listening. Again, if I said something that offended you, I apologize. If I also said something incorrect, I apologize for that too. I'm just giving you my perspective based on what I see. And again, I liked what the lady did. I think that women who preserve a man's ego, who help him out when times are tough, but see the potential in him, if he's a good guy, he's a hardworking guy, he's working to better himself, that's a good man. He ain't got to have a whole bunch of money. Like, I'm going to tell you, as a guy, I'm not really famous, but I've been around famous people. And some people consider me to be famous. And I'm going to tell you, some of y'all ladies are so fucking, enamored with rich, famous men that you trust them too much. You'll let some of these men are nasty as hell, got every disease on the planet, have no good intentions with you, and you'll still chase them around because there's a part of you that's missing. There's a self-esteem issue that you have where maybe you define yourself based on what kind of man you're next to. So you'll bend over backwards, give all the good stuff away to a guy who does not value what you have at all because he got 20 other women right behind you that's going to serve him up right after he get done with you. But there's another guy who really loves you, who really admires you. And because he admires you, you don't respect him because your self-esteem is so low that you say, well, if you admire me that much, if you're giving me that much attention, if you're willing to be this nice to me, then you must be a simp. You must be something nobody wants. Because if you were something everybody wanted, I would have to compete for you. The fact that I don't have to compete for you means you're less valuable. That is a childish mistake that a lot of young people make. And guys do it too. Guys do it. We would chase around some girl that looks good or whatever, and they'll just milk us like cows. Brittany Renner is a gold mine in terms of information she shares. Brittany Renner. First of all, Brittany Renner to me is a scumbag. I'm gonna be honest with you. In terms of like the way she carries herself, I would not touch her with a 10-foot pole. This lady slept with a lot of real nasty men, and she doesn't use condoms and whatever. A lot of times, I'm not a fan of Brittany Renner in that regard. I would not date her, but I understand why men are attracted to her. And you're attracted to women like that because they look good. That's it. You're not thinking about the consequences of being with a woman like that. So when they take you for your money, or they give you a disease, or your child's being raised by a hoe, you get mad and you blame the world. But when really it's because you didn't understand the difference between what you want and what you need. You didn't understand that in order to be a successful man, you have to have the discipline to walk away from things that are very tempting. Brittany Renner is gorgeous as the day is long, but if you can really see women the way I can see people, you would realize that ain't nothing but the devil's poison right in front of you. That ain't nothing but literally a temptation that's going to suck you in and destroy your entire soul. But here's the good thing about Brittany Renner. What I like about Brittany Renner is that Brittany Renner is honest. She's very honest. And she'll talk about how athletes are dumb. She literally said athletes are dumb. She said, if you ever want to have like millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, just get pregnant by an athlete. She said they're stupid and they don't use condoms, and you wave a little sex in front of them and they'll jump right in. And I said, wow, I'm so happy that she shared that. They had Deion Sanders invited her to come speak to the athletes because Deion understands what I understand. Deion gets it, right? And maybe it's something, and this is why the missing father has harmed the community. Another reason why is because typically your father is the guy that helps you to understand these things. And if you're a boy and you've never had a father, then you're going to be a boy for the rest of your life. You're going to make boyish, dumbass decisions. And so I like Brittany Renner because she explains how men get sucked in. Men get so tempted and lured in by sex that it causes you to risk everything. You risk it all. And I'm going to tell you, you will never be a successful man in this world if you don't have some degree of sexual discipline. I want you to think about Diddy. Diddy is a billionaire. Diddy will not die a billionaire, in my opinion. Diddy has had his name dragged through the mud. He is being sued left and right. He's dealing with all kinds of disgrace. And who knows what else they're going to do to him long term. And it was all because he had no sexual discipline. Apparently, he didn't understand that being rich and powerful does not mean that you're above the law. Being rich and powerful means that you are everybody's number one target. So you have to be a little more thoughtful and a little more careful. I don't think Diddy understood that. But and again, that's a fundamental trait of hip hop. Hip hop teaches young black men to let their guard down and not be strategic in their decision making. Strategy means that Brittany Renner comes up and starts rubbing some vagina in your face, and you start getting tempted. You say, "Yeah, I really like that. You really are attractive, but that's not for me. I'm not interested. I'm gonna find me a woman that looks looks as good as you, but I'm gonna find a woman that's also good for me." You understand? That's what it is. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to quit talking about it because y'all know I get to going and there's a lot to say on this, and I don't want to over talk it, but I just wanted to share that. And I don't know. I guess maybe on the weekends I get a little more loose lipped about stuff like this. I'll get back to like the strict financial stuff later, but this is a financial conversation actually. And I do have a book, Financial Lovemaking, that you can go take a look at. I wrote it 15 years ago at Syracuse University. So my ideas have kind of shifted since then, but there's a lot of stuff in there, like how to avoid a financial STD, how to use threesomes to make your financial life much better. The subtitle is Merging Assets with Your Partner in Ways That Feel Good. And that was actually when I began to discover how the romantic relationship is really an economic vehicle that can either drive you to heaven or can drive you to hell. And by not thinking about it carefully, by underthinking the process, we miss a lot of Black wealth, because a lot of men don't understand how the women that you keep company with affects your economic outcomes. And also the same thing is true with women, exact 100% true with women as well. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'm done. Thank you so much for listening. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget this podcast is on Spotify, so you can look me up on Spotify. And if you want to find out more about what I do and what we have going on in the Black Business School, you can join our social media platform. Go to b1nation.us. It's a B1 social media platform with lots of other B1 people. And there's an an events tab. And every week in the Black Business School, we have several events that you can join. So, for example, we're bringing in Queen Thais tomorrow for something we call ABC Reconnect, a reconnect of all the speakers from the All Black National Convention. And you're going to love it. So when you go to b1nation.us, you have to apply to get in. Once you get in, just look at the events tab every week, and you can see all the events that we have going on for the week. We have a lot of activities that are designed to elevate the Black family. That's what we do. That's what we're good at. And we also elevate Black wealth. We're very successful at this. So take care, guys. Have a good day. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV. Here we